Hello, everybody. I'm outside doing the recording today in case there's any noises that the mic picks up. Gina's inside watching the Olympics, but I wanted to go through our 8th annual Masters recap here. I can finally say that I have the events for the weekend of the 18th and 24th locked in. So obviously there's nothing this weekend, nothing next weekend. The 18th, I just booked Hidden Valley. For that Sunday. That's the weekend of the county senior that I'm going to have to do some stuff. And to be honest, I didn't feel like making a long drive for somewhere. There were some courses I looked at. Rates are so crazy that I'm like, you know what, screw it. Let's just stay close. I actually tried for Rich Maiden first, but they had an event that day. So I just went with Hidden Valley, 11 o'clock. I think it's like high 30s in the book. And plus the round we played at Hidden Valley this year was, probably the craziest wind I've ever played in. So it's not like we really even got to play Hidden Valley anyway. So we're going to go there on the 18th. And then our last event of the year is going to be Saturday the 24th at Sugarloaf. I usually play in an event that day at Sugarloaf with Belts and Conroy and Cuff, but that tournament was canceled for this year, so I figured, all right, well, they already had that event locked in, so Sugarloaf should be wide open. So I scheduled Twilight for 11 o'clock. Weekend of Labor Day, no event. That's the Hidden Birch Challenge. I highly, highly recommend you guys playing that. It's kind of like a county-ish run event that Steve, myself, Laud are all working hard on. I think it's going to be fantastic. It's 8 a.m. shotgun both days. 8 a.m. Saturday is at Birch. It's a Better Ball Partners. Okay, so it's a 36-hole Better Ball Partners event. And then 18 on Sundays at Hidden Valley. Tons of cash prizes, skins game, and everything. So if you're on my county list, you should have gotten an email with the entry form. If not, let me know, or you can find them at any pro shop. But I would really like to see a good turnout of Twilight guys playing in that. Then we have the weekend of the 7th, 8th off, and that's mainly just for because I need, at least a week to prep for the Ryder Cup and do the draft and all of that stuff. So that's why we don't play that week. And then 10 o'clock on the 14th is the Ryder Cup. This is the first year in a long time we're doing tee times. It is much earlier, though. We've been starting at like 1 o'clock shotgun at Pine Meadows. But now this is going to be 10 o'clock tee times at Hidden Valley. I go both ways on whether I prefer shotgun or tee times, but I do like the fact of being able to hang out around the green, watch the pairings come in. And Hidden Valley is actually a great course that's set up for that, with being able to watch like approaches in the 16, 17, 18, all right there in that central area. So I think that's going to be pretty good there for the Birch Cut or the Hidden Valley. Sorry, I'm distracted here. I wanted to make sure this was working. Okay, yeah, it is. Sorry for the Twilight Ryder Cup. Okay, on to our flight winners. I won the championship flight. Ursulak won the first flight, and Eli Barton second. I have to give major. Steve took this picture. I don't know if it's just him. His phone, it looks like a beautiful picture, with the 18th in the background. So props, Steve. We've got some of these photos taken in some shitty places. That's a very well done one. So let's start with the second flight, which Eli pretty much led wire to wire. He ended up winning by, 7 shots there. Gallagher was in the mix, so yeah, I shouldn't say wire to wire. Looking at the scores now, Eli shot 40 front, Gallagher shot 40 front, Plachko shot 42 front. So I do remember looking at the live scoring and being like, okay, it's a close race, but you can see here how Eli just pulled away, even par back 9. So, he beat everybody in his flight there he beat Plachko by 5 shots. So really not much excitement there down the stretch. He pulled away with it. So great playing to him. There's your final results on Scrolf. So that's probably going to be Eli's last time playing in second flight, I'd have to imagine. He's only gonna get bigger. Remember when I was going in a freshman, I couldn't even hit it out of my own shadow. So he's got a nice swing and everything. He'll be playing in first flight next year for sure. So he won $40 for first. Platch won 25 for second. And Gallagher, that should be third place. That's why I can fix all of these as I'm typing. That's kind of my... doing these videos is a way I can check all of my work. And Gallagher won $15 for third. First flight. Big Joe, super steady round. Even par 72, 2 birdies, 2 bogeys. Beat Billy D by 3. Now, Billy D did come back really after, looking at his card here, was 4 over through 6. And he played his last 12 holes 1 under. So, in fact, he really did beat Joe that stretch. He just kind of got off to a bad start in the beginning. And then we had Steele with a 77.5 back. But it was really, once again, looking at that leaderboard, it was Joe the whole time. I mean, when he doesn't, there's really no mistakes on that scorecard. He gets the job done as the 1-1 favorite. So there's what Scroff looked like. We had 13 guys in this flight this year, so great turnout there. Joe dominated it. He's in a tough spot, and I've talked about this before, where he's like, him and Billy both are always going to be like my favorites in first flight. If I put them in championship, they're obviously going to be 10-1 shots, especially Joe, because his is so dependent on the length of the course we play. If it's like, I think they played, this flight played 6,000, so like that's no problem for him. But with that being said, the Manor, we had Toth, Doug, not favorites at all. So I think Golden Oaks is a course that your like better player will rise, because there's not any quirkiness out there that's going to get you. There's not even a lot of like out of bounds type trouble. I guess a couple water hazards here and there, but it's like your pretty basic course where just go golf your ball, and if you golf your ball, you're going to shoot a score. Like, the greens aren't crazy where you're going to short side yourself and make a double or anything stupid like that. It's just go play golf. And the way you kind of look at how the leaderboard shook out, like, they pretty much went in an order that you would about think. Like, there were some shocks at the Manor. I would say there was nothing that really shocked anyone here. So Joe won $50, Billy D 40 for second, Steele 25 for third, and then fourth place was supposed to chop 15, so I just made a 7-7 there for Jake and Baney. And then here's championship flight, which I ended up winning with a 72 even, and Decker and Steve were 2 over, and Rod was 3 over. Now Decker, if you were following the live scoring, was in the lead for quite a long time because of his birdie start. Even with a bogey on 6, he was still 1 under through 8, so I guess we would have been tied at that point. He doubled 9, bogeyed 11 and 12, and that's where I kind of pulled away at that point. I would have been 2 under standing on 13T, so I don't recall, but I think I had let's see, Steve was even. So I would have had a 2-shot lead standing on that tee. Steve made a couple late bogeys. Decker played the best from there in, from 13 in. He played 1 under. Steve and I both played 2 over. But I still I played with a 2-shot lead from 16 in, where even standing on 18T, and I have to give some credit to Carson here, because I hit my drive like a little right. It must have hit some trees and stuff. I had like 270 in. Like, I really, really wanted to send it down there, and he talked me into laying up, so I hit like a gap wedge and then a pitching wedge, which is fucking lame as shit. But he's right. I made the right decision. He's like, listen, Luke, Steve can only like an eagle, and you make a par, you're in the playoff. He's like, just don't do anything stupid. So I needed the little caddying there to help me. So shout out Carson for the smart play there. And then it was, pretty steady round at coming in at 3 over in his first major. Nobody else there broke 80. So there's how it looked on Scroff, tight at the top. I won 50, Steve. Ooh, that should be chopped. Ooh, I wonder if I messed that up. I'm going to have to check that. Hang on, I'm going to set myself a reminder to look at this because I don't know if I messed that up on the scoring or not, but that should be 80, 100, that should be 25 each. I guess I will be able to see below as I scroll down. Skins and CTPs, great job with the scroll CTPs. Everything was perfect this time. No mess ups by everybody. I really appreciate that. Schnecky hit it in there real close on number 4. 2 feet 9. Soup on number 9. 8-7. Rod hit it really close on number 13 at 2-1. And Gower on 15 at 10-11. So a bunch of good shots there. They were worth $25 each. There was 210 in the skins pot. Now, there were 6 skins. So they only paid 35 each. And I feel like this happens at every major. Like, we'll do a regular season Twilight event, and there'll be, like, 4 skins. 3 skins or something. And so, for some reason at the majors, there's always a lot of them, and they don't really pay a ton. Decker had 2 right off the bat, birdie in 1 and 2. Soup birdie on 3. Then if I keep going, so birdies canceled on 4, 5, and 6. Carson with a birdie on 7. 8 birdies canceled, 9 birdies canceled. 10 Joe birdied, skin. 11 birdies canceled. 12 Gower had a deuce on that par 4. He said he holed out from like 100 yards, didn't even see it go in. Birdies on 13. 14 par, so nobody birdied 14, nobody birdied 15, 16, or 17. So wow, I mean that is a tough stretch of holes at Golden, and then 18 was birdied. So 6 skins, they each paid 35 each. Scroff just makes that so simple. Oh, betting, man, what a bad year for the pot. We've had years where, like I said, we're able to pay for like 2 hours of open bar at the Ryder Cup. We have money left over. We pay for the entire Ryder Cup dinner. And I remember having like bad events. There was one Ryder Cup that went pretty bad. I don't remember anything like this where just what everybody expects just happens. Like, in hindsight, I probably should have made Eli's odds a little lower. Like, I probably should have made Joe's lower for like the parlay. All the parlays people put in, but everybody just hammered Eli, Joe, myself, and like that's just the result that came in. It's like people already are seeing my email that's coming out before we even tee off. It's easy. So maybe I need to start making, the people that I know they're gonna bet and the favorites in the flight, like make them like minus odds, like just so the parlays even come into like lower payouts. But yeah, you can see second flight lost 180 on Eli. First flight actually won money because a lot of people bet Billy. Lost money on myself in championship. Took 80, and I even thought putting 2-1 was like a pretty fair price. But I guess when it comes down to it, like I really did think, and I even said that in a preview email, like I would have been shocked. That's before I even knew Decker was playing in it, but I would have been shocked if it didn't come down to like Steve, Rod, and myself. And I mean that's what it was at the top. And maybe this is a product of like Golden Oaks too, where there's not just much crazy stuff that's going to happen there. But here's where it took the hit once again, like the Joe Eli 5-1, and this 15-1 parlay that I gave people, like the true odds on that were 23-1 when I put it into the parlay calculator. So it's like I did give like terrible odds, like took like 40% vig on it. And that's where I'm saying, like, maybe if I made Joe minus 200, like Eli 1-1, then I can get that payout on. But people still need to pick like 3 flight winners correctly. Like, it's still not, people still need to go out there and play golf and not mess up. So, yeah, it is what it is. And then like to make matters worse, Bailey puts this Joe to win by 3 shots. And he wins by 3 shots. It's just funny. You gotta laugh. Like the way the book's gone this year, you can see lost 677. I think we lost like 1,200 on the. Hang on, give me a second here, God. Yeah, but lost 677, lost 1,200 before. So that's $1,800. We're not our, my dollar entry fee that I put on every round that somebody plays is just not going to come up to $1,800. I mean, I like to make a little bit of money on the betting. If we break even, I know we're fine. Like, this is obviously like worst case scenario possible, and I'll talk about that below, how we are going to handle that. Okay, Ryder Cup standings. At this point how it works a little bit different for the majors. It's 1 point if you win money in like in the purse that I talked about above. So that would be like that amount right there. So for example, my $50 would be 50 points. Okay, so that's how that works. You get 2 points for CTPs and skins, 1 point for every birdie you make, 5 you make an eagle, and then just 5 for participating. So these events like really will show, if you win or come in like the top 3, you really get a lot of points compared to if you don't, it's kind of like small. That's why a regular season event, you can shoot a bad score in a regular season event and make a lot of points. This one you really have to earn it. So speaking of Ryder Cup standings, so I pretty much locked in a captain spot, as I normally do. I play every week. Like, even if I'm on some losing teams, like just the volume that I play, I'm most of the time going to be a captain. There's some years I haven't been, that if I'm on a bad streak. But obviously, the more you play, the better chance you have. If you're somebody that doesn't play a lot, you really need to line up your rounds on winning teams. And then if you get lucky with your winning teams and like win a major or something, then you can get towards the top. And JD's played a ton this year. Probably been a lot of winning teams, but it's still tight with 2 events left, Hidden Valley and Sugarloaf. So Steele is right on his tail. Then there's a bit of a drop-off to Jay-Z and Pez. So I would have to say it's probably going to be between JD and Steele, unless we have some crazy wins and somebody in the middle of the pack there claims, or happens to be on the right side of that. Okay. So let's go down from Ryder Cup standings. Okay, Ryder Cup eligible. Once again, we're getting close now. 2 events left. These 8 people at the top are locked in. I take 44. Now, I'm going to explain this one more time. Just if you come in the top 44, that does not guarantee that you will be in the event. My best example is, let's say all 41 people here in the beginning sign up. I need foursomes. Okay? So if all 40 sign up, Platch is the 41st player, I would cut him. He would not be able to play, then all 40 above him will play. So that's why, like, if you're in the bottom, it's kind of like risky whether I'm, if I happen to get even numbers, then everybody, or shouldn't even say even numbers, multiples of 4, then everybody who signs up to play is going to get in. But if I don't get multiples of 4, people are going to get cut. And the people that are going to get cut goes from the bottom to the top. So the way, you can guarantee yourself is, get yourself into the 30s, and then you should be pretty safe at that point. But once again, there's still 2 more. I go by rounds played this year, and then I go by your career rounds. So it will probably be in the 4-ish range, depending on how many rounds that you have played, of what the cut will be. So if you're on the bubble and you really want to play the Ryder Cup, play the last 2 weeks at Hidden Valley and Sugarloaf. Okay, Dick List. Lots of stuff on here. First column is your Ryder Cup points. Entry fee. Everybody that played, $22. That goes to like skin, CTPs, the purse, scrolf, all of that stuff. Purse you saw above, that's what I went through. If you were in like the top 3 or 4, depending on how many people were in your flight. Skins, $35 each. CTPs, $25 each. And then this is if you bet. Okay, here's the big one. So, Steve and I had a very long discussion on how we were going to handle this, and there was only one thing to do, and that's assess everyone. Okay, we've never had to do this before, but we've never lost this much money. betting before. Going into this week, we figured if we had a good week betting, it wouldn't, we could maybe get away with like a $10 assessment. Losing almost $700 made matters entirely worse. So the amount we had to do is $35. It is what it is. It's not like this money is it's going to you guys. Like, we need the money to pay the betting out and all of the stuff for the league. We usually have that we can pay because we do well betting. We didn't this year, so it is what it is. It's $35. So everybody that's played a round of golf this year with Twilight got a $35 assessment. There's some people on this list who haven't played this year. If they do happen to play the last 2 weeks, they're going to get an assessment as well. But for now, I'm almost treating them like they're not even in the league. But all of you are going to see that on your account. And the thing is, even with that, there's still not that many people that are really down money. So many people are up money that the $35 assessment just essentially took your total and just slightly lowered it. But that's on there. That gets us back to the positive, where we're going to be able to pay people out for the Ryder Cup standings, for their betting. And that pretty much gets us to the point where going into the Ryder Cup, will be about even. We might have a little bit of money left at that point, just depending on how many people play Hidden Valley or Sugarloaf. And then we're just going to kind of have to see going into the Ryder Cup, like how the Ryder Cup betting does. And, for if you're paying $20 to go to Red Lion, if not, like it's all going to really depend. But we just had to do the $35 assessment. So sorry, it is what it is. That's your price to pay to be in this awesome league. Yeah, and here's our balance, which now gets us to, now this is showing a positive $454 balance, but that's because the Ryder Cup standings, we have to pay out $400 to the people that come in the top of that. So really, we're positive $54. And, like I said, if you look here and you look at the betting, $677 for Masters, and 1122 for the Open. So yeah, it's close to $2,000 that we lost betting. So the $35 assessment is just going to help pay for that, but it's coming from you guys just to help supplement us to get back to even. So yeah, that's all I got for this email. The assessment thing was something I really wanted to talk about. I feel bad about it in a way, but it's partially my fault for the hole-in-one thing. It's partially my fault for offering maybe too good of lines. So you may see shittier lines in the future, especially when I generally know who people are going to bet and who they're going to parlay, so I might just have to protect the book and put shitty odds for those people and entice you to bet others. It all depends how the flights break down. Ryder Cup's a little bit better. I don't have to worry about that as much, especially the past couple years. Captains have done a really good job of making fair matchups, and if something's not fair, I really will juice it one way. So not going to see you guys for a couple weeks. 2 weeks left. Hidden, Sugarloaf. Hope to see you guys there. It's crazy that we're going to finish this year with 20 events, so we've played 18 so far, and it's August 1st right now. So the season is winding down. But I hope to see you guys there. Mark down that Hidden Birch. I highly recommend you guys playing that. And hope you enjoyed the video. If you're still around, have a good one, guys. I'll talk to you later. Did you not hear me? I was screaming for you to let Matilda in. She was probably half the video is just her barking. I can't believe you didn't hear me.